sort of talking of letters, MPs have come under fire lately regarding how they conduct themselves during Prime Minister's questions, with the Speaker of the House receiving letters weekly complaining of how they're conducting themselves. Do you think it's appropriate?
I don't want to. I mean, Prime Minister's question time has been a bit of a slanging match for quite a long time now, going back a long time, and I suppose it's become a bit of a tradition. So you probably notice I don't really tend to go observe. I don't tend to take part in a lot of it. I think it has become a sort of a theatre of people trying to make points and stuff. But what I would say to people to reassure them is that questions that are asked are answered seriously, but often outside of the chamber. And also, if they look on other question times, Secretary of State, Foreign Affairs, for instance, or Energy, or any of the other important question times, they'll see a very sincere attempt at communication, asking questions, getting serious answers. But a lot of the answers you get tend to be when you've written directly to a minister or the Prime Minister. You also get a lot of answers asked in committees. So yes, there's half an hour once a week when MPs sort of get going and talk to each other in a quite aggressive manner, but in many other ways there's a lot of good communication going on. So Prime Minister's question time is a bit of a slanging match. Not sure how much use it is, but people do seem to like to watch it, so it must be performing a useful function.
But as you said, people expect to see their MPs sort of in a professional light. You don't want to see them having a go referring to tweets, as we saw the other week, of what the other politicians are saying. It's not how you want to be represented.
Let's put it this way: as a new MP, I am surprised at the way things go on there. And I do think perhaps much more restraint, as the Speaker constantly calls for restraint, and I think I tend to agree with him. We do see this happening more than I would like, and it's certainly not something that happens in council chambers across the land. So I am a bit disappointed with Prime Minister's question, but I would like to emphasise to people that most MPs I know, and there's always going to be exceptions, like in any job, but most MPs I know work extremely hard. There's an awful lot goes on outside the chamber and talking to people, even within the chamber, outside of Prime Minister's question time. That's serious, well-meant, hard-working people generally trying to find the best way forward. And of course people are going to disagree, and of course some people are going to believe one side or the other is completely and utterly wrong, and that tends to erupt in Prime Minister's question time. It's where MPs tend to get things off their chests. But there's I've been in lots of bill committees, I'm on the European Select Committee, where we seriously try and talk to each other about the proper issues that we disagree with each other and trying to find a way forward. Of course, as a coalition partner, we have constant disagreements about the way forward, and we're constantly trying to talk seriously to compromise, to say, okay, well, I don't agree with you and you don't agree with me, so what's the way forward? Now, people criticise us and say, well, why are you working with people you don't agree with? But if you actually say to people, do you think you would like to see politicians getting together and working together towards a common goal, even when they disagree with each other? Most people say yes, and that's what I think we should do, and that's what we're trying to do. So I'm not a great fan of Prime Minister's question time myself.
So your Eastleigh constituents are never going to see you getting riled up in the middle of Prime Minister's questions or having a slagging match with the opposite party?
Well, I have done a couple of things which I got caught up in the moment, and I'm now looking at it and saying to myself, I don't think that's really appropriate for me personally to do. So I personally now, if I'm going to ask a question, it's going to be a serious question, and I'd like a serious answer to it.